Now time for the 7 things you'll be talking about today. Number 7.
As Alabama readies for a potential college football playoff berth, and Auburn has a top-ranked recruiting class, let's say high-ranked recruiting class, a highly ranked recruiting class, the University of Alabama at Birmingham is announcing that they're going to keep their coach. And this has a lot of their fans and students not too happy. Trent Dilfer, former NFL quarterback, despite 2 challenging seasons with a 7-17 record, Dilfer will remain at the school. UAB has confirmed this. Athletic director Mark Ingram acknowledged the difficulties posed by NIL and the transfer portal, but expressed confidence in Dilfer's passionate work ethic to turn the program around. Everyone who I know who is a fan of UAB is not happy about this. A lot of people are very unhappy with me because I keep saying Alabama's wiggling its way into the playoff. How else would you describe it? They're not necessarily roaring their way in.
Number 6.
The Prattville City Council is not willing to, nor should they, block a controversial pride float featuring a drag queen in its annual Christmas parade. Now, I told you that these individuals were going to try to make a scene and make a mess of the Christmas parade in Prattville because that's what these people who have quote-unquote pride love to do, and here they are. It's a Christmas parade, and they're putting a drag queen in it. Oh, we have a right to do so. Yep, yeah, you absolutely do. That doesn't mean you should. City officials, citing First Amendment protections, argue that rejecting the float would violate free speech rights, which is correct. While residents remain sharply divided on the issue, Prattville Pride defends its inclusion, emphasizing its commitment to a family-friendly participation. It's a drag queen. The fact that you're pretending that's family-friendly is part of the problem here.
Number 5.
Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Health's insurance division, was fatally shot outside Midtown Manhattan, out of a Midtown Manhattan hotel, in what police believe was a targeted attack. And I think we know that now that more information is out. We'll get to that in a second. The masked gunman, described as a white male in a cream-colored jacket, fled the scene after firing multiple shots at Thompson, who later died in a local hospital. Taylor Lorenz, a former reporter for the Washington Post, then posted the name and face of other healthcare CEOs on her website. It's very strange. But this appears to be a targeted hit connected to the business. The suspected gunman in the fatal shooting, I guess, wrote the messages deny, depose, and defend on the ammunition found at the crime scene. So, this is probably a very disgruntled user.
Number 4.
The questions being asked by Supreme Court justices in the hearing during a case to decide whether or not they can ban minors from receiving gender reassignment surgeries and treatments in Tennessee are leading experts to believe that they're going to allow the ban to remain in place, as they should. Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall was in the courtroom to express his strong sentiments in supporting the Tennessee law banning transgender surgeries and medication for minors, arguing that the Supreme Court basically says states are allowed to make up their own rules, and that the evidence on the side of the people that want these kids to transition at the age of 2 is not really there. But the battle goes on and the case goes on.
Number 3.
A little bit of good news coming from near the southern border. The incoming presidency of Donald Trump is leading some to self-deport amid escalating cartel violence and the looming implementation of President-elect Donald Trump's stricter border policies. Many migrants waiting in Mexico are choosing to return to their home countries. Migrants cite fears over Trump's plans to eliminate a U.S. asylum scheme, that is a scheduling app, and reinstate the Remain in Mexico policy. These are reasons why people are leaving. It leaves them in a vulnerable position. I mean, if you say so, put vulnerable in quotes. Mexican officials report an increase in the number of voluntary return requests as some migrants decide it's safer to abandon their journey than face the unperilous path ahead.
Number 2.
Amid concerns over President-elect Donald Trump's potential reprisals, scary. The Biden administration is now debating preemptive pardons for people like Adam Schiff, a United States Senator-elect from California, former U.S. Representative Liz Cheney, a Republican out of Wyoming, Dr. Anthony Fauci, who needs no introduction. What did they do? The White House faces a dilemma. Offering legal protection implies guilt and fuels criticism, while leaving officials exposed to costly investigations. The discussion highlights mounting anxieties among Democrats that the Trump team might take an aggressive stance with the Department of Justice. You know, like they did. They're scared.
Now, time for the number 1 thing you'll be talking about today.
As the media seeks another Trump nominee scalp, United States Senator Tommy Tuberville, a Republican out of Auburn, here from the great state of Alabama, has stood firm in his support of 2 controversial, if you say so, controversial nominees, Secretary of Defense nominee Pete Hegseth and FBI Director nominee Kash Patel. Tuberville pointed to Kash Patel's role in exposing the Russia collusion narrative as a key reason why current FBI leadership is resident to his nomination as FBI director under President-elect Donald Trump. Tuberville argued that Patel is uniquely qualified to overhaul the FBI, accusing the agency of corruption and political weaponization, which is true, during the Biden administration. Patel, in turn, has proposed bold reforms, including transforming the FBI headquarters into a deep state museum and redistributing its staff to focus on field operations, which sounds awesome. But the support for Hegseth has been pretty strong as well. And I think that some supporters are calling out these senators in a way of saying, look, you're going nuts about this guy's personal life, and you're being a little ridiculous about this. I mean, just think of some of the stuff they're mad about. There was a woman who accused him of sexual assault, so they paid him off because it was going to be blackmail, and the false claims of sexual assault could obviously hurt his career. By the way, a lot of members of Congress have done similar things. There have been reports of this slush fund where non-disclosed settlements were being made with taxpayer dollars. And then you have other individuals who are saying that he drinks too much and all these other things. Tuberville wants none of this and is saying, look, we need to have some serious conversations about this. And you're trying to make this argument that this guy shouldn't be it because he didn't live the perfect life. And that's, I think, a pretty crappy thing for us to be doing right now. But that is where we are. Hegseth, I think, is going to get confirmed. Patel, I don't think there's any question about that one. But Hegseth is the latest target. They're coming for him hard, and they're trying their best to take him down. The Chirons on CNN, alcoholic, womanizer, embezzle money, all question marks, because they're not making these accusations. They're making accusations of potential accusations. Isn't that nice and lovely and just wonderful? That's what we do. That's what we do, by the way. Just make sure that's what we're doing here. This is absurd, this is wrong, and this shouldn't be happening. And you can weigh in right here if you would like. It is all, of course, very simple. You can get in here right now. 866-494-WVNN, 866-494-9866. Get your questions in for 10 with him. Get those questions in, your comments on anything else going on here today. The hatred directed towards Coleman is real. And when we come back, I'm going to lay out my $1,000 challenge, which no one is going to take me up on. So stay tuned. If you want a free $1,000, I got it for you. All you got to do is answer the question I'm going to be giving you next. Right now, though, let me tell you a little bit about my friends at Two Men and a Truck. Two Men and a Truck. You want to talk to these guys when it's time to make a move, because the last thing you want to do is make a move by yourself. That doesn't sound very fun, does it? No, you want Two Men and a Truck and so much more. Two Men and a Truck will come and help you move. They have what's known as the grandma rule. Treat everyone the way you'd want your grandma to be treated. That means they come, they pack it up, they unpack it, they stage it. They do it all for you. and they do it for a great price. 2 Men and a Truck, Huntsville.com. Check them out today. When you do, make sure you tell them Dale Jackson sent you.
Get WVNN's Dale Jackson's 7 Things You Should Be Talking About Today right in your email box every morning. Go to yellowhammernews.com and sign up today.